Hey, welcome to 100 Mile Drive, and today I have a 2025 Tesla Model X Plaid fully loaded. And in Tesla's world, fully loaded means it has 22-inch wheels, wide interior, and a full self-driving option. But today I want to answer two biggest questions. Got it. And number one, is it worth spending $100,000 on Tesla Model X Plaid over Tesla Model Y performance? And for question number two, I want to discuss what does it feel like driving this Model X Plaid in the real world? Like if you were going and buy this car today, what does it feel like driving this car in the city streets, highway, and twisty roads? Now, I rented this car back in 2017 when it first came out, I believe in 2015. And while I was hugely impressed with these falcon wing doors and all the gadgets that this car has to offer, I was hugely disappointed when we took it to the twisty roads. The driving dynamics of the X back then kind of let me down. Now I am back in 2025 with this X Plaid to revisit the driving dynamics of the X Plaid and to see if it's any better. And if you're watching 100 Mile Drive for the first time, well, this is the channel where I say before you buy a Tesla Model X Plaid or any other car, don't just settle for a 5-minute test drive around the dealership block. Instead, rent a similar car, just like I did, and drive it for at least 100 miles on city streets, highway, and twisty roads to be able to answer the biggest question I'm answering on this channel: how does it feel to drive? And guys, I'm gonna leave a link in the description for this X Plaid because, like I said, it's fully loaded, and if you want to experience the X, then this is the right car to get. And first, a quick walk around this Tesla Model X Plaid just to kind of quickly give you my thoughts on the exterior styling. Now, personally, I think this car is overdue for a refresh. I think they should definitely refresh its styling just to kind of make it look a little bit more fresh and, more desirable, a little bit better looking in my opinion. It doesn't look bad by any means, but I think we've already used to this looks and we need something newer, something a little bit more aggressive maybe, but of course, don't mess it up. Now, this car, like I said, has optional 22-inch wheels. This is a $5,500 option. Fronts are 265 35 R22. Rear are 285 35 R22. Pretty big wheels and tires combo. I'm going to discuss them on the twisty roads. Now, this is the side profile. Looks pretty cool. Coming on the rear, you have this little spoiler, which looks pretty nice. Make it kind of look sporty. So overall, it looks pretty cool. Basically what the original Model X looked like. Let's do a quick look inside the trunk. Now this is your wide interior, right? We're gonna look at that as well, but it looks pretty nice, pretty stylish and elegant. Now this is what you get in the rear when all the seats are up. It's a little shelf there, there's a little space here, and then you can open this and there's more space here as well. So it's not bad overall. I think it's pretty decent space. All right, let's do a quick door sound check. Now, I really like these automatic doors. Just press the button and it opens, you get in. All right, let's close it now. Yeah, it sounds okay. It doesn't sound like solid or something like expensive, it just sounds all right, Soft close, of course. All right, let's get on the inside. And as I'm getting on the inside, just want to quickly discuss the interior quality of this Tesla Model X for 2025. Now, I'm pretty pleased to see that these materials improved a lot. This is soft touch. It's pretty well molded overall. Nothing creaks or rattles. This is soft touch. This is some fabric here. Very nice handle. This is also nice plastic. Like even this lower portion here, right? This is typically hard plastic, but you can feel it's soft as well. So I'm pretty pleased to see this a higher premium materials in this new Model X. Now getting on the inside, oh, by the way, instead of closing the door manually, right, I can just press this button and the door closes. How cool is that, right? Now on the inside here, now it's a pretty cool yoke steering wheel, but we're gonna discuss this yoke steering wheel because I think you should go for the round one. Now yesterday I was steering through the plazas and I have this tendency to use one hand, and obviously that didn't work well. I was all over the place. So it kind of teaches you to drive correctly because you shouldn't be crossing or using grabbing your steering wheel from the top. You should always have it here. And I know some of you made comments on my videos as well, but nevertheless, I would go for the round one. Now, as far as here, this is kind of like a you know, soft touch, but on the harder side, but it still looks pretty good. Now this is your sound bar. This sound system here is just absolutely fantastic. It feels like you're sitting in a studio or something. It has like two subwoofers. This is your Alcantara, pretty well molded. Nothing moves here. Like I had a Cybertruck on my channel. It had some misalignments here, but this one looks pretty good overall. And I like that. And look at this massive windshield. How cool is that? It feels like I'm in a helicopter or something. This is a huge screen here. You know, it's pretty nice. You can see all this stuff. Really like, you know, this bigger screen here as well. Now, all these storage areas here as well look pretty cool, right? How you can open it like halfway, then close again. And I only recently realized, first I thought, why this cup holder is so loose? But then, wait, you can actually move this and move this like this. And there's another deeper, you know, kind of space here. You can put your purse for ladies or whatever you want. So I think they've done a pretty cool job organizing this. It's not like a high-end plastic, I would say, because this car only has 1,500 miles, and already I see some little here like nicks, like this. See, I think they should improve the quality of the plastic on this. Otherwise, it's a very cool solution. I think it works pretty well. Now, this is another area for your armrest. And overall, guys, white interior looks just gorgeous, man. It adds this contrast, right? Black and white, and then this fabric. And I think this adds for sure a luxury touch to this vehicle. And then there's the carbon fiber trim. So I think it looks overall pretty nice. All right, let me quickly jump in the rear just to kind of quickly discuss this. All right, and here next what I want to show you. Now, one of the reasons you buy this car, right, let me press this, is the coolness and uniqueness of this vehicle. So let me press this, is how all these things are automated, this falcon wing doors. And look at this like open entry point, right? Like you just walk into this, right? This is so amazing. And this white interior, man, how gorgeous it looks here. Now this is your added screen. I mean, look at this. Doesn't it feel nice? You press the button and then this door closes. I know, it's really nice. So guys, this is one reason why you would get Model X, because of this cool experience. And when you sit here, you're like in a plane or something. You have your like window area here. There's Alcantara on the roof lines, your little speakers. So it's a very unique experience. Now, there's not much room in the back. I tried to sit there yesterday. I'm not gonna do it now. It's a little cramped. It's doable, but it's a little cramped. But I just want to point out that the experience sitting in the rear of the Model X is very unique. It feels pretty upscale. I would even say more here than up front. So it's a pretty cool car for the passengers for sure. So that's one of the reasons why you would get Model X. Now, let's go ahead and drive it. And first I'm gonna drive Tesla Model X Plaid in the city. So I'm gonna throw it into sport mode. We're gonna check out Plaid on the twisty roads a little bit. Then I'm gonna keep steering in light. And suspension, we're gonna go to comfort for now. All right, and let's go. And what I want to discuss first is acceleration in Model X Plaid, right? Now, by any means I can actually try and experience it here. It's too fast, guys. Now, this car can do 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, especially in the Plaid mode. And then when you put suspension in low, you won't feel how it lowers itself to the ground, and it is quick. So for ladies, if you want to do a quick lift for your skin, right, then you can just literally jump into this car, do 3-4 quick lunges, 0 to 40, and you'll see how your skin will kind of like tighten up a little bit. I'm telling you, it feels that way. All right, so coming to the stop, let's do a quick stop right here. Now the stop pedal, there's a little long travel. Just that itself, I think they could adjust to have it respond a little quicker. And then you press gas pedal, and then this car just jumps. I mean, like I said, I can't even test properly here the acceleration. But one cool thing about it is that based on what it used to be, like compared to what it used to be and what it is now, it is way more solid. Like you feel more confidence in this Model X, and this is good news to me because like I said, the one that I rented in the past, it didn't have good driving dynamics. It didn't inspire confidence. Now this car definitely inspires more confidence. and then I'm gonna unpack it more as we drive it on, you know, here in the city, highway, and then obviously twisted roads towards the end of the video. Now the stop pedal, like I said, it stops okay, but I wish it felt a little bit stronger. Otherwise, it does have decent stopping power, but not at higher speeds. Like, don't take this car to like really high speeds, which is very easy to do. Then you can find yourself in trouble. I'm just letting you know, because it's still not designed for that, right? It has way too much power than it's capable to handle, that's for sure. So that's the thing. And if you're buying this car just to do 0 to 60 or quarter mile speeds, I guess, yes, you can do that. I'm still thinking like, why, right? I'd get Model S for that, Model S Plaid. So I'm not sure why X Plaid even exists, but it's just one of those things like good to have, right? It's like people who buy a Rolls Royce, for example, right, that has a 600 or whatever horsepower, never really flooring those things. It's just like a prestigious thing to have, like a lot of power, just to say, hey, you know, this car has a lot of muscle. Same, I think, with the Plaid. It's like, it's not usable power by any means. It's just good to have. That's how I see it. So for most folks, I think a regular X probably is all you need. I don't really think you need Plaid, except if there's a very small price difference, like it's only like $150 a month for lease, right? Then it's like, you know, why not? You know, you're already paying way over $1,000. Why not just get Plaid, right? For that reason, maybe. Now let's quickly talk about seats, right? Seats are pretty comfortable. These are leather seats. They only have a little like squeaking kind of noise when you press yourself against the seats a little more. They do this little crick, like a little squeaking noise. Otherwise, very, very comfortable. We'll discuss them more on the highway. Now let's talk about the steering, right? Steering is obviously, Tesla is one of the best in class to show how connected steering can be in electric vehicle. Obviously, Model 3 is the best experience of that steering because it just feels almost like a go-kart. But even here with the big vehicle like X, it steers effortlessly in the light steering. And then if you put it in whatever standard or heavy, it does tighten up more, and it feels pretty direct. It's just in the X, it's a little bit more relaxed than, let's say, in Y and 3, but otherwise it just feels quite natural and responsive, and I really, really do like that. All right, next, let me go ahead and actually drive on my favorite bumpy road so we can discuss the most important thing, which I think is suspension. And now driving Tesla Model X Plaid on the bumpy roads, right, is my favorite imperfection road to test the vehicles. And Model X has air suspension, right? And the thing is, it keeps it in default as in low, right? It can go to medium, but then it kind of lowers itself, and I'm keeping it in comfort setting. So what is it like driving it on air suspension? Well, it's still bumpy. It is comfortable, right? It does smoothen out these imperfections, bumps, but it still feels bumpy. And the sound when you hit some bumps or cracks on the road, it kind of resembles in the cabin, right? Similar to Model Y that I complain about, but here it's a bit better dampen the sound, right? It's not as bad as I experienced in the Model Y. So it's similar to Model Y in the way it handles the imperfections. It's just feel like it's more cushion, right? The air suspension adds more cushion to this vehicle. Now, in one way, they're keeping it kind of more natural, right? How vehicle naturally responds to all the imperfections on the road, and is just kind of cushioned by the air suspension. But on the other hand, if you look at the luxury automakers like Mercedes, let's say GLE, right, that I brought on the channel, Porsche Cayenne, right, with the air suspension, or even Range Rover, the way they approach air suspension is they level the chassis. I try to always explain that when I bring Porsches, because they are the best, I think, in class in terms of air suspension, is how they are able to level the chassis. So when you drive, all these imperfections, you almost like don't feel them, unless they're like some bigger ones, but the minor ones, they're completely erased. And that kind of adds to that luxury experience. It almost feels like you're driving on like a cloud or something, right? In some cars, it might be a bit boring, like in the Mercedes GLE, for example. But it's certainly like when you are in this luxury cabin with this nice materials, quality, interior quality, it does add to the premiumness of the vehicle, to basically having your road smoothened out and, quiet ride. Quiet ride also adds to the premiumness. So this is what's kind of lacking in this vehicle. While it's still, believe me, it's still very comfortable, but it doesn't have sophistication of the air suspension that you will see in the Mercedes, even BMW with the air suspension, and especially Porsche and Range Rover, because they are, I think, the leading in the class on showing how to deliver the luxury. And Porsche, on top of that, has really great driving dynamics, right? Where if you start throwing it around the corners, it doesn't even do a lean in the body. It just handles it amazingly while still delivering this cloud-like, plushy kind of ride. So now, what does it overall feel like driving Model X in day-to-day? Well, it's a very easy car to steer. The only thing, like I mentioned, get the round steering, because one issue I personally found, when you steer around like plazas and stuff, it's just hard to like what do you do with the steering? Like, it just feels kind of weird, like, because you have to rotate it all the way around, right? This is not a steer-by-wire that you find in the Cybertruck, which is the right way to do this steering. The only positive I see is that it teaches you to hold the steering right, because you shouldn't be holding it at the top, because you can hit yourself in the accident. You should be holding it right here, right? It just kind of teaching you that. But the way it's actually implemented is not the right way. So I would definitely get the round steering. Otherwise, it's a very, very effortlessly to drive vehicle. Your grocery shopping, your whatever it is, commute, or let's discuss what is it like spending many hours in this car on the highway. All right, I'm experiencing more of these bumpy roads before I hit the highway, and you can't really hear it in the video, but you can hear it's like a lot of this hitting imperfections come through the car into the cabin. And yes, part of it, you could say these are 22-inch wheels, so maybe getting the standard 20, I believe, right? It'll definitely help with that. But even then, I mean, these are not too thin. I mean, they're 35s, yes, on the lower end, but I've driven cars with 35s, and they had much better sound deadening in the interior. Man, this car jumps into the highway like too fast, like it's so effortlessly. This is one reason I like electric cars is for that instant torque, right, that they have. All right, the first thing on the highway, I want to quickly look into the sound insulation in the cabin, and I have my meter. Let me hit the 65, and then I think we need to get in the faster lanes to hit 65. It's a little crowded. So one thing I do want to mention though, compared to the older X, this is far more quiet. I think this is the quietest Tesla I've been to, because it is super quiet. I think they've added the acoustic glass, and it really works well. 60, it stays in 60. Wow, that's like one of the best dBs I got in the cars, and like it is really quiet. And I think if you get 20s, it will be even more quiet. But overall, guys, this is the car you can totally spend time in. Just engage your autopilot and you're in. You can definitely spend many hours in this car. Now, this car has full self-driving option. Until today, I was driving it in my neighborhood, and it just stopped in front of the car. It found it dangerous, and it disabled the autopilot for a week. So I hope the guy who rented this car to me is not gonna be mad, because it confused itself and it disabled it. I didn't even do anything wrong, so it's just funny. But nevertheless, you can definitely spend many hours in this vehicle. Seats are very comfortable. I love the seats. They're very supportive, even for lower back. I feel them in the lower back, so nice seats to be in. So yeah, anyone considering this for long journeys, right? You can even camp out in this vehicle, then you guys will definitely like it. Now, yoke steering is fine here. There's not much going on. Just, you know, keep your hands here. There's no upper portion to keep your hands, just the lower portion, but it's fine as well. So the other thing I like to do is just to do mid-range power. And obviously, this vehicle is the one that can do it the best, probably, in everything I brought on the channel for sure. Just for fun of it, I'll just put it in, let's keep it in sport mode, right? And we'll just try to floor it and see what happens. So 1, 2, 3, floor it. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, it just, everything just stays behind immediately. This is really fast. All right, so you can definitely overtake some cars on the freeway. The other thing I kind of wanted to quickly point out, guys, is two things. One, I already mentioned, there's a little bit of squeaking and rattling from this plastic cover on my, like a horn on the steering wheel. Otherwise, it's a very quiet cabin, and they definitely improved the craftsmanship in this new X Plaid compared to the older model, because the older one, when you were driving this X, there's a lot of creaking coming from everywhere, from the windshield, literally from seats, from the dashboard, doors. I mean, it was just like, you could tell like they were lacking their basic like car building. But this one is just much better, feels much more solid. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this car moves pretty well at speed overall. It has this confidence, despite being on the comfortable side overall. But I like how rigid this chassis is, and then when you toss it around, when you like go a little faster, you brake, move, you know, do all your maneuvers, I would say, right, in your day-to-day life, you will see that this car responds pretty well. The chassis is pretty solid, and this is another big plus. Despite being on air suspension, that Tesla kind of took it to the next level. I just want to see even more refinement, even more sophistication in this suspension. All right, guys, so this is it for the highway portion. Let me go ahead and take it to the twisty roads, because the biggest thing I want to discuss in this car is its balance, is its safety, and overall driving dynamics. Like, has it improved or not, and what is it like overall? All right, guys, and now I'm going to drive Model X Plaid on the twisty roads. I have my suspension in the sport setting. I have a Plaid mode, heavy steering. All right, let's go. Now, this is just to demonstrate what is the driving dynamics of the Model X Plaid for 2025, right? And the reason why I'm bringing cars on the twisty roads is basically just to test out their balance, their safety, to see like, is this car capable like of overtaking, right? If somebody brakes in front of me, can I just overtake that car? Kind of shows you that confidence, right, of the vehicle. And like I said, for me, a car either gains respect on a twisty roads or it loses it, right? Like if I see some weird stuff in the chassis, in the car's behavior, it's gonna happen right here. And I don't even have to drive fast. I'm going downhill. Now, when I put the car in sport suspension, right, it actually tightened up quite a bit and it become more bouncy, which is completely normal, especially for the air suspension. It kind of shows you that it reads the road more. It's, you know, better for aerodynamics and overall lower center of gravity. Now, what is it like driving the 2025 Model X, right? Well, it's a completely different animal. Like in the past, the car would be understeering a lot, it would lose grip, and it would be completely overwhelmed by the twisty roads. Not this one. This one has a really good low center of gravity, also because of the batteries. So you do have that feeling of being pulled down in the corners, and Tesla is the best representation of that, showing that low center of gravity. Steering feels really good here. It's pretty tight, pretty like good response. It's pretty pointy in the corner. Obviously acceleration is just instant, but we don't have to go really fast here. And the chassis stays pretty well planted. Like I don't have anything, you know, trying to like shift left or right in the corner. It stays pretty stable. It doesn't wobble, doesn't dance. It's really nice. These wide tires definitely help. They definitely help to grip well. No squeaks from tires. They hold on pretty well in the corner. Obviously, there's a limit to everything, but for your like normal back roads kind of driving, it does fantastic job. Now, it's not like inspiring confidence type of a thing. Like, it's still a heavy machine, right? 5,500 pound, but you can definitely have fun, right? The Model 3 is the one that you can, you know, have really fun with the car because it's very kind of low to the ground. It's lighter. It just feels really nimble. But even this X, which is a big family SUV, it is far more capable than just, you know, hauling your family nicely on the highway or in the city. It can take corners, guys. It can take corners, and it holds pretty well. This is what I'm pretty impressed. So there's good driving dynamics in the new X. There's a nice tight corner here, and it just holds. It holds really well. Wow, really impressed. The low center of gravity holds it. The low suspension control holds it. It does bounce, like I said, but that's normal. And off we end. So this car does have confidence, you know, it built that confidence for me. And I know that if something happens on the road, some kind of emergency situation, this X will be able to handle that. So kudos to Tesla. They finally, you know, brought good driving dynamics into their bigger vehicles. Even the Cybertruck did well, but this is far better than the Cybertruck. All right, guys, now let me go ahead and summarize this. All right, guys, I decided to record my final verdict from the rear seats here because it's such a nice place to be in, right? And I'll answer both of my questions, whether it's worth spending $100,000 and whether it's better than Model Y, is it worth buying over Model Y? And there's one message, basically. So overall, I think this car is worth spending $100,000. And if you find sometimes in the inventory vehicles, maybe a demo vehicle, you can maybe even spend $90,000, right? I think overall they improved this vehicle a lot. They improved the quality of this materials. They added more tech. We have a Plaid version, right, which is really nice tri-motor setup. You have a new steering option, and you know, overall, like I said, it's a very unique experience overall, right? Like I'm sitting here, there's no other car that I'll be able to sit like this. This feels more like some kind of a small airplane to me than a vehicle, or maybe like a helicopter, I don't know. But definitely it's something more unique, and this is why you would pay more for this car over, let's say, Model Y, or even to say, is it worth spending $100,000? So I think, yes, it is worth spending $100,000 in this car. And I hope to see more refinements in this. While it does drive nice and pleasant overall, easy to live with, I still feel they could improve on the chassis quite a bit. It does have some cues of like a minivan, crossover, something SUV. So I hope they improve that to be more of the luxury SUV by, like I said, improving the chassis to deliver more smooth cloud-like performance for the air suspension, at the same time retaining really good driving dynamics, right? This car handles really well on the twisty roads, and I'm really pleased with that. It means it is safe, it is capable, and it's not like you're just a boring kind of a vehicle. So let me know what you think. Do you guys like Model X? Do you think it's worth going up from the Model Y? I personally think it is. I think there's a lot more sophistication in this car, a lot more unique feel and experience, and I personally kind of liked it. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you in my next video.